Good morning and welcome to the July 2018 garden tour. Slipping this in on the very last day of July to show you the progress that we've made in the last month. You can see that Willie and Fred, our two little lumps on a log, are still sitting there. Our arborist has now informed us that he has purchased a portable sawmill and will be coming shortly. He's testing it out on a couple of other logs before he comes to this coveted English walnut, so next month that should be gone. You can see that the feature plot has now been planted, and I'm going to take you through what I've planted. And we've done a significant amount of planting of trees and shrubs. So I'll show you how the progress of the garden has transpired in this last month and what's blooming really well and what I need to cut back. Sorry for any of the loud noises. We have a neighbor that's putting in a pool, so lots of big trucks coming and going, and the airplanes have decided that they're going to fly over the house today. You never know what the flight path is going to be, so apologies for significant noises that I can't control. So as you can see, we have a really good view of the deck right now. I need to still paint or repaint the white of the metal, but we have excellent amount of petunias that are just putting on an incredible show. What you see in the bright pink is Vista, Proven Winners Vista Fuchsia, and the lighter pink is the Proven Winners Vista Bubblegum. So they are just really doing well. To give you an idea, I have fertilized them only twice so far this whole summer. I did the first round like a month and a half ago, and just this weekend did one. This beautiful vine that you see climbing up here, this is a mandevilla. We couldn't get the ferns that we normally purchase because of the hurricane, and we have just been absolutely delighted with this. And I will be buying these mandevillas every single year from now on because they are just climbing up the obelisk and showing us their beautiful flowers. This particular one here, this is called Picasso. It's also by Proven Winners. I believe this might be Picasso in pink. Couldn't find the tag, but I found the blue one and it's spectacular. The stuff that you see draping down here, this is all Creeping Jenny. Some people use it as a ground cover. I love the way it cascades down the flowering pots. Up here in these, it's just different colors of geraniums. This one here is one that hangs down, and so I always look for them. They're harder to find. And this year I was able to find this beautiful little one right here with the multiple colors in its bloom. So they're just really, really lovely. Take you through over here. I'm trying to keep it slow so I don't make you dizzy. See over here, this is the herbs that we grow, and I'll take you through the progress there. But I really wanted to showcase to you how well this little arrangement is doing. So again, we usually buy ferns for here, and this year, instead of the ferns, we tried out a new product that is called, there's a version called King Tut. This is called Baby Tut. It's a grass, and it's about as high as it's going to get, and I just absolutely think it's fabulous. In here I have geraniums, and I have a wave petunia. You can see they just perform a little bit differently, and I actually enjoy having multiple types of petunias because some perform really well at the beginning and others perform better later on in the summertime. So here is the herb tower. It's doing exceptionally well. I'm going to be trimming everything back right after this video. For instance, things like our mint has become a bit leggy, and I would really like that to be a bit thicker. So I'm going to cut it halfway back and use all of the product, as well as the thyme is doing the same thing. So cutting back your herbs is a good thing. I probably let all of my basil, my micro basil, go too long, but I'm going to give it a good haircut too. And the coriander has now started to produce on the cilantro. That's the seeds. So coriander and cilantro, it's the exact same plant. The difference is the seeds are what make it called coriander. They need to dry out a bit, and the leaves at the bottom is what cilantro is. So coming into the rest of the garden, just going to show you a couple of really nice arrangements. This is another petunia. This is called Bordeaux, and it's doing really, really well. And you can see here's another version of the Vista Fuchsia, just a different container and not performing the same way. Same great light situation, and I'm okay with the way it's performing here. I really like the way that the Bordeaux is cascading with the contrast of the creeping Jenny at the back. I'll just show you this one over here. Here is the Picasso in blue. I really like the way that the leaves are edged in the green. This one is called, I believe, Mini Silver, and it's doing really well too. I'm not so sure that putting the cosmos in here was the best idea for something that gives you the height. I love the little flowers, but I haven't had as great of a show coming out of them, so they're going to get a big haircut too. Down here, I have now planted the hydrangeas. This one is called Invincible Limeretta. It is a 2018 product, just coming out this year, so giving it a try. You can see they're seeing a little bit of a challenge after being transplanted. It's been a very, very hot summer. So we have waited until this nice little cool reprise from this incredible heat we've had. They've had some good watering, and I hope that they will do well. Here you can see this dogwood here. It is a stellar pink flowering dogwood. Has the most incredible flowers on it. And I'll just slowly move this over to show you the rest of the garden. We've also planted in hydrangeas on this side. So over time, what will happen is you'll see this show and this show of the hydrangeas sort of cascade over the sides of the deck. I think it'll just be beautiful. This is a flowering red bud. It's a version that sort of cascades down. I just love the heart-shaped leaves on it. It's quite nice. And yeah, there is a little bit of heat damage or sunburn from when we transplanted it back a month and a half ago. Next year I know that it's going to do really, really well. This one here is a Kusa dogwood. It never did bloom, but I'm hoping that it will next year. To give you an idea, this tree here will grow about 10 feet. I think that one's about 15 feet. So they're just going to give us some nice privacy. Down here, this is a globe cedar. It is a golden globe, so the new growth comes out as a nice yellow color, and then it kind of fades into the green over time. Some more of that beautiful Picasso in blue. We were able to get all our hostas in here. These ones like the sun, and I have more hostas to fill in the gaps, but I wanted to show you some more trees that we planted. This here is a dwarf Alberta spruce, more of the actual golden globe cedars. And this here is a umbrella pine. It's from Southeast Asia, and it's quite a lovely, lovely tree. I have done a significant amount of work to try to make sure that it does thrive in its spot. It's been 100% all new soil all around it for at least 4 feet around, well, around the whole, from that dwarf Alberta spruce to the cedar, globe cedar. That's all brand new soil. So we tried to really give it a really good start to its life. It's a Japanese umbrella pine. Just to give you an idea of how beautiful. It's unlike anything I've seen before. And over here, we have a Wigelia down there, the nice tri-colored variegated leaf. I always try to find different ways to showcase beautiful pieces in my garden. Give you an idea right here. This is the ivory silk, Japanese lilac. Blooms nice white flowers. It's going to get about 20 feet tall. And in the back there, it's maybe a little hard for you to see, but that is a boomerang, purple, fragrant, reblooming lilac. And that's gonna, there's 2 of them in there. it's going to actually fill this whole space up. They get about 5 feet tall. So as you come back and you look at this vista again, you're going to see this beautiful, on this side and on that side, there will be a all year long blooming lilac. So I've tried to really think about every color and how they're all going to work together. And I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to show you the feature pot. I just planted this on Friday. It's Monday morning. I planted it Friday night, so it is not doing so well. These poor little petunias have sat in their original containers for the last month and a half. They're very, very leggy. I am going to give them a big trim, but I wanted to be able to show you today what they look like before I come in and give them a haircut. The haircut will actually stimulate them to actually be a thicker growth pattern instead of the long legginess that has happened because they were in their original containers. What I really like about this particular petunia is its yellow throat. It's quite pretty, and I've paired it with these Zahara zinnias, and this is another mandevilla. It's just a white version of it, and because I just planted it as well, it hasn't yet used its trailing habit to go right up this obelisk, but I am 100% convinced that it will. In the back here, the flowers that you see are showing us that they've been alive all along. They have not been blooming. They are phlox. I have a white, a pink, and a purple. I didn't even recall that I had as many colors. I thought I had just planted pink. And because of the English walnut that's been here, they haven't had any opportunity to really bloom. And now that it's gone, the plants are loving the new light and they are starting to show us how stunning they are. In these arrangements, I really like the way that they are showing up as well. I have a verbena, which is this purple and white flower, and it's doing very well, very well. The purple, sorry, I'm just turning my pages because I've actually taken the time to write everything down so that you know what it is. And it's called an Empress Burgundy Charm Verbena. That's this one right here. And the petunia is called Crazy Tunia Blackberry Mojito. And again, what we've done is we have put the Creeping Jenny in there so that we have the contrast against the blue pots. Just giving you a vista of how the deck looks as it cascades up the actual decking, and you can see how over time these really nice little hydrangeas on each side are going to actually start to tumble over the deck. It's just going to look fabulous. So let me just show you a couple of other things on how the progress is proceeding. You can see we are still have a lot of work to do. Back here in this part of the yard, I have the same vista, or the same petunia, the mini silver, and as well as the Picasso in blue, as well as a purple wave petunia. It's also doing well, but not as well. Just to give you an idea how everything comes together. Again, it's always a working garden. I do a lot of garden tours. I go on a lot of them and really enjoy seeing people's gardens. What you really realize over time is that everyone's garden has vistas or little vignettes that you can take a photo and say, I want my garden to look like that. Nobody's garden is ever perfect in every single area. For instance, right behind this is a huge jumbo weed that needs to come out. This here is a hibiscus. It's now blooming. The flowers are really stunning on it. There are multiple colors here. There are some purple ones as well as pink. When I bought this, they were just little tiny sticks and they were braided together, so I get the different colors. And here is the actual tree. These ones are all babies, so I can dig them out. I'm going to give them to my sister, and we're going to try propagating different, not propagating, but sharing our plants, because that's the best way to have a garden is to share. This is the service berry that we planted. My husband has his hammock out, which he can enjoy. And to give you an idea, here is the tricolored beech. A little hard to see, but it's really going to fill out. It's going to love this home because this plum tree is probably in its last year or two before it comes out. And it's really started to come on. And you can see here, it looks like the tree is dying. I'm just going to take you a little jump up here. This is a horse chestnut, and I'm not sure whether it's diseased or whether it's just the dryness that occurs, but we're losing the lower limbs on it, and I really do hope that it's not catastrophic. Just going to take you over, show you the vegetables. Just before I do that, just give you one more little view of the yard. Again, remember always that as you look at a yard, that it's all about the vignettes. What are you looking at that inspires you? Never let it be something that makes you feel bad, because when you turn around the other corner, there's all the work yet to be done. That new garden is going to get all sorts of nice mulch. I'm going to take you and show you the vegetables over here. This is my first year growing zucchini. See, I do have some growing in here, this nice little yellow one. Very dependent on the amount of watering. I've got lots of tomatoes along here. It was advised to me after, about a week ago, not to be planting the zucchini with the tomatoes. A little late now because they're happy, but it means I have to really be mindful of the actual amount of water that I give everything, because everything is very water dependent. These are all ripening up very, very slowly. Some of these are very old varieties. Still have some of the actual lettuces, the radicchio. Here is the nursery. And very excited to share with you my very first ever eggplant. You can see I got lots of blooms, and all of those blooms are going to turn into more eggplants. This heat has just been great for eggplants. Here's all my kale. We've already taken off of that tomato plant back there, probably 7 tomatoes. I've also realized that I'm kind of failed at doing beans because you have to pick them. And I've been so absorbed in just the work with the garden that I haven't been very good to my plants. The columbine is still blooming. Again, I don't plant these, they plant themselves. And I'm just going to end the garden tour here with a little bit of the front yard. This here is a Tough Stuff mountain hydrangea. It grows on both old and new growth, which is great because this year we had a late spring frost, and any of the new growth actually was sort of, I guess, died off. But you can see because of the old growth, it still blooms. This is an elderberry, a black leaf elderberry. We are just delighted with how it grows. We love the new growth that comes out, and it's this nice green against the black. And I trimmed these significantly down because I didn't want them touching the windows. And you can see how much they grow in 1 year. Just going to show you the front so you have an idea what it looks like. Clearly I need to come in here and do some trimming. Apologies for this. I like to do little vistas with interesting pieces that we discover. And then just to give you an idea, here is the front. It's a little understated compared to the back. In previous years, I have really done up the front a lot, but my hose doesn't work that well in the front here. So I'm finding just having this amount of pots is about all I can manage without killing stuff. So I have been very excited to see the different plants. This green is actually a coleus. And this I actually don't know the proper name of it. If you do know the proper name, it's called a wandering Jew. I've seen it called that on tags, but it cannot be the proper name. It is often a house plant, and it's been a real showstopper because of the way that the purple leaves come out. It was the two of those, I sort of plunked them in when it was super dry, and so they're lasting through not being well watered. And that's always a criteria for anything that I grow. It has to like a little bit of nurturing, but not a lot of nurturing. It has to be able to thrive with time that you're not here, you're giving it the attention it needs, and also time that I can spend a little bit of extra sort of trimming on it and make it look good. Anyways, that's the garden for this month. I do hope you've enjoyed it. It's always a delight to be able to share these with you. If you want to get a good sense of where the garden was, check out the Spring 2017 garden tour. That will give you a really good idea of sort of where the yard looked like when there was the English walnut tree. But again, because we've embraced how the garden looks without it, we are now really enjoying all the different layers and colors that are yet to come. Just like these little lime hydrangeas that are going to start to show up a little more. Thinking I might get a third one. Oh, life in the garden is never done. Thanks so much for dropping by. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them, and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks a lot.